Hello everyone, I am Amita from Nourish Talk, a platform for natural and holistic therapies. We are going to be talking about a very relevant topic in the sense especially during COVID times, we are going to be talking about how Chinese medicine can help you with your immune system. Joining me is Susie McCleary. She has been a nursing practitioner for the last 12 years. Hi there, you finally figured it out.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We all have our first moment. So I'm so happy to have Susie McCleary. Apologies for a little bit of delay. We were just trying to figure out the technical nuances here. So anyway, jokes apart, the topic is very relevant. We are talking about Chinese medicine for rejuvenating our immune system. And we are talking with Susie McCleary from Australia. She's joining me live from Melbourne. Thank you so much. Oh my God, that's amazing. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself. I was going to say something about you, but it's better you tell us a little bit about yourself and then we go into the questions.
Yeah, sure. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Suzy Mc Cleary. I have a Chinese medicine practice, actually about 2 hours from Melbourne in a little sort of country town. And I've had a private practice here for about 14 years. Before that, I was a registered nurse working in mainly pediatric intensive care. And I worked in the US for 8 years. So
Oh, wow.
I told my mum and dad I was leaving for a year and came home 8 years later. So I had a wonderful time traveling around, working in, we started off Savannah, Georgia, and then went to, lived in Guam, Boston, upstate New York, and then we spent 4 years in Colorado. So we had a wonderful time. And it was in Colorado that I was first introduced to Chinese medicine. Mm-hmm. And I started studying there and then transferred eventually home and completed my studies at RMIT University in Melbourne, where we did a 5-year double degree and spent the last year of that in China, studying over there as part of our internship, and then came back and set up a private practice here and I now have 2 children who are 7 and 9, and they've just we've started school holidays for them for the Christmas break, so it's weather's warming up, and so we're very lucky here at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and amazing. So let's talk a little bit about, let's understand how our immune system becomes weak. We are all over the world. We're talking about the same thing: immune system. So how does it become weak? And then after that, we will come to how Chinese medicine can help.
Okay, so, well, the first thing is, according to Chinese medicine, we have a protective shield around our body, and this is known as what we call Wei Qi. And this protects us from invading pathogenic factors. Now, in Chinese medicine, we refer to these as cold and damp and wind. So this Qi is regulated around our body by our lung, and that is responsible for keeping our body warm, regulating our body temperature, but also preventing these external pathogenic factors from invading our body. Now, in Western terms, this Wei Qi represents our immune system, and our immune system is what prevents and protects us against our viruses and germs. So when our Wei Qi is strong, then that way we are resistant and we ward off disease. However, when it is not strong, this is where we get invasion of our pathogenic factors. So our Wei Qi is created through the food that we eat, the air that we breathe, water that we drink. And unfortunately, today...
Joining me is Susie McCleary. She has been a nursing practitioner for the last 12 years. Hi there, you finally figured it out.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We all have our first moment. So I'm so happy to have Susie McCleary. Apologies for a little bit of delay. We were just trying to figure out the technical nuances here. So anyway, jokes apart, the topic is very relevant. We are talking about Chinese medicine for rejuvenating our immune system. And we are talking with Suzy Mc Cleary from Australia. She's joining me live from Melbourne. Thank you so much. Oh my God, that's amazing. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself. I was going to say something about you, but it's better you tell us a little bit about yourself and then we go into the questions.
Yeah, sure. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Suzy Mc Cleary. I have a Chinese medicine practice, actually about 2 hours from Melbourne, in a little sort of country town. And I've had a private practice here for about 14 years. Before that, I was a registered nurse working in mainly pediatric intensive care, and I worked in the US for 8 years. So
Oh, wow.
I told my mum and dad I was leaving for a year and came home 8 years later. So I had a wonderful time traveling around, working in, we started off Savannah, Georgia, and then went to lived in Guam, Boston, upstate New York, and then we spent 4 years in Colorado. So we had a wonderful time. And it was in Colorado that I was first introduced to Chinese medicine. And I started studying there and then transferred eventually home and completed my studies at RMIT University in Melbourne, where we did a 5-year double degree, and spent the last year of that in China, studying over there as part of our internship, and then came back and set up a private practice here, and I now have 2 children who are 7 and 9, and they've just we've started school holidays for them for the Christmas break. So it's weather's warming up, and so we're very lucky here at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and amazing. So let's talk a little bit about, let's understand how our immune system becomes weak. We are all over the world. We're talking about the same thing: immune system, immune system. So how does it become weak? And then after that, we will come to how Chinese medicine can help.
Okay, so, well, the first thing is, according to Chinese medicine, we have a protective shield around our body, and this is known as what we call Wei Qi. And this protects us from invading pathogenic factors. Now, in Chinese medicine, we refer to these as cold and damp and wind. So this Qi is regulated around our body by our lung, and that is responsible for keeping our body warm, regulating our body temperature, but also preventing these external pathogenic factors from invading our body. Now, in Western terms, this Wei Qi represents our immune system, and our immune system is what prevents and protects us against our viruses and germs. So when our Wei Qi is strong, then that way we are resistant and we ward off disease. However, when it is not strong, this is where we get invasion of our pathogenic factors. So our Wei Qi is created through the food that we eat, the air that we breathe, water that we drink. And unfortunately, today's world, it's very easily attacked. And so when we say our immune system is not working as well, it means our qi, our defensive qi, is not strong. So things that can actually upset our Wei Qi and make it not strong is our hectic lifestyle, our poor diet, which is often high in dairy, sugar, hydrogenized fats. Antibiotics can play a big role. Heavy metals can also play a role. Air pollution, and in particularly lack of sleep and stress play a big role in our immune system not functioning as well as what it should.
So that's the problem, right? All over the world right now, lack of sleep and stress. I mean, all of us are stressed out. It doesn't matter which part of the world, unless you're living in Himalayas and saying, okay, I've become a yogi. I mean, seriously, like all of us living in any kind of humanity, any part of the world today, we are exposed to the stress and maybe lack of sleep. And so what you're saying is these 2 things alone can aggravate our immune system.
Yeah. Right? So what happens with, particularly with lack of sleep, is it disturbs the regulation of key chemicals produced by our immune system to fight infection. So a recent study that they did found that less than 7 hours of sleep creates a state in the body called fright or flight, and this is where we get an increase in stress hormones and we get release of adrenaline. So normally at night these chemicals in the body dip down to a lower level. However, if we get less than 7 hours of sleep, they remain really high. So now this is really important because the stress hormone inhibits the ability of our T cells to function efficiently. Now, our T cells are a type of immune cell that fight pathogens. So, for example, cells that are infected by viruses, such as the flu virus, they are unable to fight that as well. So they did a study where they compared healthy volunteers, and they had one lot stay asleep and one lot so have normal sleep, and then the others, they kept awake all night. And what they found is normally when T cells recognize a virus infected cell, they activate what's called integrins. And these integrins are a sticky type of protein that allow them to attach and kill the virus cell. So, but the patients or the clients who didn't sleep, they found that this activin was at much lower levels, and so therefore the T cell activity and their immune system didn't work as well. And they also found that chronic stress, or the stress from had an indirect effect in that when we were stressed, we often turned to the things that then impacted our immune system. So we were stressed, so we ate more, or we were stressed, so people turned to recreational drugs. And these, again, had a really big impact on the immune system in making it not work as effectively.
Got it. So I think that's a very good explanation how you explain the T cells and what the correlation is on our immune system, and that makes a lot of sense. And especially like in high tech, or any industry for that matter, I mean, the stress and the sleep are diminishing factors, right? That's what's happening. So let's talk about where does Chinese medicine help? How does it come into play?
Right. So throughout the 5,000-year history of Chinese medicine, there's been, thousands and thousands of years of, testimony to its holistic approach. So it long views the individual as a holistic, as a whole person, and not just as a symptom or a disease. So where Western approach is often, if you've got a cold, let's treat a cold, or treat the symptom of a cough or anything like that, where the focus of Chinese medicine is actually to aim to bring the immune system back into balance, and then the body can actually fight against any disease or illness that they come in contact with. So it's through the activation of qi through our meridians. And our meridians are pathways that connect the internal organs with the outside of the body. And when the qi flows smoothly along these meridians, that's when we say that our immune system is strong and functioning well. So Chinese medicine is very big in teaching that good circulation is the foundation of health, and is effective in keeping the cells of the immune system also functioning at their best.
So you're using like acupuncture, right? I mean, the needles that are you insert the needles at some meridians so that the qi flows without any issues, right? I mean, that's one of the tools that you would use, acupuncture, correct?
Yes. So we have a lot of tools that we use, and, particularly using the acupuncture, the fine needles at specific points can again build our Wei Qi, which is responsible for building our immune system.
So let's talk about herbs. Any particular, I mean, do the herbs would work in conjunction with the acupuncture, sessions, or the herbs can also work independently? Like right now we can't go to an acupuncturist, at least in California, everything is saying stay at home order.
Yeah. Well, there's another of other things as well. So as well as acupuncture for building our immune system, we do have herbal medicine. And so there's some really good herbs such as, Huang Qi, and that's known to build Wei Qi. Other really good things for building the immune system is getting outside. So I know a lot of restrictions, but if you can even take a walk where it's green, they've found there's certain chemicals released by trees that reduce stress, reduce blood pressure, and then that can help improve our mood and again improve our immune system. So we also do a number of other, herbal dietary medicine is huge in Chinese medicine in terms of what food we eat. So we often say our food is our medicine. And so, eating warm, nourishing food that is easy to digest is really sort of paramount for Chinese medicine. So good things to be eating at the moment include congee or soup, chicken broth, leeks. Good herbs is ginger tea or cinnamon. To add to your diet and your cooking as well. We also, really concentrate on sleep being, a major factor in terms of getting to bed at a reasonable time. So we say in Chinese medicine, you need to be in bed before 11. So going to bed between 10 and 10:30, getting more than 7 hours of sleep. And if you're having trouble sleeping, using, making sure your phones are removed from your bedroom and there's no electronic devices in your room. Maybe having chamomile tea and Epsom salt bath to help relax before you go to bed. All these little steps can help you get into that good sleep routine. And so, when we get sick, there is a reason why you're tired and you don't want to do anything. It's because your body is trying to heal and it needs to sleep to heal. So, often we're just like, oh, we just can't do anything. Well, the body is very clever in giving us the messages and saying, go to sleep.
Yeah.
So, So also getting outside, vitamin D, they've found a strong correlation between, low levels of vitamin D and developing upper respiratory tract infections and pneumonia. So, making sure that you get vitamin D, get outside and get some good sunlight where you can as well.
So getting the sunlight, especially in northeast part of the United States, like upper part, is very difficult now, because it's winter time. I'm from California. We have a bunch of sunlight, so we're blessed. But some of the areas, where the sunlight is not as much, specifically during the winter months, then do they do supplementation for vitamin D or something in Chinese medicine that they can do some supplement in lieu of lack of vitamin D?
Yeah, so not specifically, Chinese medicine recommending vitamin D, but as practitioners, we often do recommend people with low levels or who have their levels checked of doing a vitamin D supplement. Other things people use are the infrared solar lights for increasing their vitamin D and light in their body. So they're very popular, particularly up in areas where there's minimal sunlight available there. So that's a really good one just to try and boost those levels for immune system as well.
Okay, so we keep hearing in the news, right, that in China that they have done using traditional Chinese medicine specifically for COVID. So any thoughts on that they've been using traditional Chinese medicines for a lot of people who've had COVID?
So again, so China's had, their 5,000 years, they've had over 300 epidemics over that time. So they've used Chinese medicine effectively to save many lives and combat the infections. And to date, there's over 100 formulas that they've been using that they can actually treat. So when there's some new studies that are coming out now, sort of retrospective studies that were based on what happened in Wuhan back in January. So in January, it hit, and patients presented to the hospital, and they were just automatically treated with Chinese medicine, herbal medicine, often combined with Western medicine. And so what these reports actually found was that they had a 90% efficacy. So their results of recovery that, provided that they had better relief of symptoms, improved outcomes, and shorter recovery time. So they weren't getting this long haul syndrome of people having this, ongoing chronic illness after recovering from the actual COVID virus. So, but one of the things is that Western medicine, still with COVID, is focusing on each individual symptom, whereas, again, Chinese medicine in fighting the epidemic primarily focused on restoring the immune system of the client before to get them back for their recovery. So even, looking at their data coming out, that there is, lots and lots of amazing formulas and herbs that we use, because we look at the individual and say, assess at which stage the virus is, because it will go through a number of stages. Whereas, with Chinese medicine, as well as that, we're able to focus on building the immune system, so to let the body what it knows how to do best, but we need to give it those tools.
Got it. So depending on the individual, let's say, it's a very mild symptoms of cough, and, that's what they talk about, then progressing further, and before they have to be admitted to an ICU, there's a lot of prevention, what you're saying, that can happen using traditional Chinese medicine.
Yes. Yeah. So, again, their focus of it's, we stop it at a particular stage and stopping the progression. And so this is where in China that they use the particular more in China. It was really interesting when we were over there, there'd be 7 floors of the hospital. Only 1 floor did acupuncture, and all the rest was herbal medicine. So
that's amazing.
Their focus is very much on herbal medicine. Also Qigong, breathing exercises, supporting the immune system through breathing is very, very strong. So using Tai Chi, Qigong exercises like that, anything that meditative breathing to support the immune system as well. So the formulas are, quite complex, but they're designed individually for each patient. But the underlying premise is with all of their treatment of any epidemics throughout the centuries has been on supporting the patient's immune system.
Got it. No, I think that's very impressive, looking at the research that's come out of China, that how much traditional Chinese medicine they have used on that's their first line of defense, right?
Yes.
Rather than using the Western medicine. So maybe some tips you can tell our viewers what they can do at home to keep themselves kind of like a little bit, have the strong immunity. Anything that you could recommend on Chinese herbs or anything they can do at home?
Yeah. So one of the things, as well as some of the supplements we use of, making sure they've got enough magnesium, making sure taking probiotics, looking after their gut health in particular is really important. Other supplements they recommend, vitamin C. There's an interesting study that's just come out of Australia, which they're doing a really big study. Vitamin C, a lot of holistic practitioners have always advocated high dose vitamin C. And there's been studies done where, they've used higher dose vitamin D and found that it's been no more effective. Well, this study in Melbourne used 50 times higher than their mega dose and had COVID patients that had sepsis walk out of the hospital and had amazing results. And so what they've actually done now is they're now doing a proper study to see if this mega dose of vitamin C is actually playing a big role. Although they don't recommend that people go and self-medicate.
Themselves start doing
Yeah, but zinc is also really important. And then another thing that I've been doing over the last couple of years with my clients, because they can't come into the clinic, is doing what we call a meridian reset. And with our meridian reset, what we've been doing is we're using phototherapy patches that clients can use at home to rebalance their meridians. And by rebalancing their meridians, they support their immune system. So the phototherapy patches we've got on the
like a little thing,
yeah.
You put it over there. You have
yeah. So what it is I've got one here.
Oh,
so
wow.
it looks like a little band-aid, but
Yeah.
it's not. It's far more powerful. And what happens is we pop it on the skin, and what it does, it traps the heat of the body that we're giving out, and then it activates the material inside the patch that then sends different wavelengths of light into the body to cause biochemical changes that then activate the chi in the meridians. So in January, we're running our next meridian reset, and it's called Reduce Anxiety and Maximize Immunity with the 5-day kickstart. And so these patches we put on, excuse me, the different pairs of meridians with the body, and then we used other patches that increase the body's natural production of glutathione, which is essential for, you know, one of our body's most important antioxidants. And we use another one that actually reduces inflammation markers in the body. We do this for 5 days and to boost our immune system. And it's been really wonderful way that clients can really boost our immune system without actually having to leave their home, because they can do it at home. And we have an email system and a Facebook group that we provide ongoing support during the week for people to make sure they're doing it correctly and provide them feedback. So, you know, a lot of us have had to really transform our practices this last year because our patients, we're very, very lucky here in Australia. At the moment, we don't have any active community cases. And so, but last year when we closed our clinic, we were able to say, hey, let's do a meridian reset. The patients then were able to purchase the program, do it at home, and the results and the feedback we got was amazing. It was fantastic. So using phototherapy and light was a great way for people to, you know, naturally support their meridian system, and that in turn boosted their immune system.
That sounds really good. I mean, send us the information, and we would love to offer it here for the U.S. clients, because
so they can
go ahead.
So they can purchase it directly in the US. So, and they're shipped from the US. So and then we're trying to get everyone organized, so that way then come the new year, we know most people, we're not starting on New Year's in the first week, because most people are still in holiday mode. And so we'll wait until the 11th of January, and then we'll get going then. So it should be a great time to do.
Send us the information, and we'll pass it on to our viewers and to all our community. So that, I think that would be an amazing thing for people to know, to understand that there is something available that you can do at home. You know, I think that's at least in California, things are still shut down, so we can't go outside. But this is a great information. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up? This has been a very good session, I think, you know, with you really making us understand that, you know, how the immune system and what we can do, and you have an option for doing it at home also. So that's something that's really good, I think.
Oh, yes. No, I think I just want to say thank you. Sorry about the start of me getting technically organized. Anyone can follow me at susymccleary.com. You can sign up there, or I also have a practitioner reset for any practitioners out there who actually want to do this with their clients. We have a whole community of practitioners where we give you the tools that you need to share with your clients. So we've been very big this year in creating a real force of practitioners to support one another, so we can give you the tools to share with your clients. So I don't want to treat your clients, I want you to have the tools that you need. So that's been a really big thing that we've been doing over the last year, is creating a community of practitioners and teaching them how to use these patches in their clinic, so they can incorporate it as part of their virtual consults. So when they're doing consults online and they're seeing imbalances and they need to treat stress and they need to treat sleep. So one of the patches actually is called silent nights, and it increases serotonin, which is the precursor to melatonin. So we use that a lot, and is wonderful for kids to get them to go to sleep.
Thank you. Yeah, someone made a comment here. Mahalo from Hawaii, great information. Well, you're welcome. Someone just commenting right now. I just wanted to read that out. Well, thank you so much, Susie, for being with us. I really appreciate. I see some people are joining right now. I'm sorry we are ending our session, but we will be sending more information about about some of the information Susie has shared on the patches. And what people can do, especially in US. So we will be sharing that information. So with that, thank you so much, Susie, for being with us.
All right, and thank you, and all please stay safe. And
yes,
yes, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.